Hey everyone, welcome. So today we're unpacking something that literally affects all of us. I mean, whether you're a student yourself, maybe a parent, or just, navigating this incredibly fast-paced world we live in, we are exploring how education has to fundamentally evolve to meet modern demands. We're talking about shifting from that old school traditional learning over to building strategic competencies, basically mapping out exactly what today's student actually needs to succeed. By the end of this explainer, I promise you're going to view the whole concept of schooling through a completely different lens. Let's get into it.
I want you to take a second and honestly reflect on your own past. Think back to your time sitting in those endless rows of desks. You probably learned the capital of every state or exactly how to calculate the area of a triangle, right? Which, hey, that's great. But what crucial life skills did your traditional schooling completely miss? Like, did you learn how to negotiate a contract? Did anyone teach you how to read a room? How to manage your personal finances? Or, and this is a big one, how to bounce back from a massive failure? For most of us, the answer is a resounding no. We were pushed out into the adult world with a head full of facts, but a toolkit completely missing the actual, practical, everyday capabilities you need to navigate real life.
Section 1. The Education Gap. Addressing the Deficit. Okay, let's dive into this macro-level problem facing today's youth.
Because here is the fundamental mismatch. On one side, we've got standard curricula, which historically lean super heavily on rote memorization. You know the drill, absorbing information just long enough to pass a test and then totally forgetting it. But on the flip side, the modern workforce demands critical thinking and technological adaptability. Look, in a world where we all have a smartphone that can retrieve literally any fact in a fraction of a second, memorizing dates, it's just no longer a competitive advantage. Employers care about how you solve unexpected problems. They want to see how you think critically about really complex systems. And traditional schooling is, well, it's simply struggling to keep pace with that reality.
Section 2. Beyond School Skills. Actionable Solutions. So let's talk about how to actually fix this. We're going to look at a platform called Beyond School Skills, which is specifically designed for students aged 10 to 18 to bridge this exact educational gap. And what really sets it apart isn't just what they teach, it's how they teach it. They've completely abandoned the whole static, passive learning model. No boring, pre-recorded lectures here. Instead, it's all about interactive, live, online courses taught by international experts. It's bringing global, real-time expertise directly to the student. This makes sure they are highly engaged and actually interacting with the professionals who are actively shaping the modern workforce right now. And the curriculum? It's heavily focused on essential life competencies. We're talking financial literacy, public speaking, leadership, and emotional intelligence. Now, standard schooling often brushes these aside as just soft skills that you'll kind of figure out later on your own. But the sources we're analyzing today argue forcefully that these are, in fact, the absolute hard skills of the future. I mean, think about it. Financial literacy teaches the teenager how money actually works way before they ever take out a huge student loan. Emotional intelligence teaches them how to manage their reactions and empathize with colleagues. It's essentially handing a strategic toolkit to 10 to 18-year-olds, a real game changer.
Section 3. Interactive Classroom, a look inside. All right, we've talked about the big picture, but let's abruptly shift gears and zoom in on what this actually feels like on the ground. Just imagine you're 10 years old, you're logging into a live session. The instructor pops up with just incredibly high energy and announces, "Time for our first big detective challenge." Suddenly, two almost identical, colorful cartoon images appear side by side. Maybe they're really busy park scenes. The instructor tells you to put on your super observation eyes. Your mission? Find 5 really subtle differences between picture A and picture B. It could be a different colored balloon, maybe a slightly different shaped cloud. You get 3 to 5 minutes of pure, silent observation. And then the live interaction kicks off. The instructor is like, "Who found one difference? Great job! What about another? Keep looking." You aren't just sitting there passively watching a screen. You're a detective. You are actively searching, participating, and totally engaged. But here is what's absolutely brilliant about this. The hidden architecture of that activity is actually a rigorous cognitive process. On the surface, yeah, it's a fun, simple 10-minute game. But break it down. First, careful observation. Second, identifying those subtle discrepancies. And third, which is the most important part, it's training the brain to notice crucial details while simultaneously ignoring all the unimportant noise. Instructors explicitly explain to the students that this helps their brains get really, really good at filtering information. So what you have here is top-tier critical thinking training brilliantly disguised as a game. It's building the exact adaptability and focus that the modern workforce so desperately needs. Section 4. Strategic advantages, macro-level goals. Let's zoom back out from that micro activity and look at the overarching goals here. Picture a high school student who has spent years not just cramming test answers, but actively practicing public speaking with international experts, managing mock budgets, and seriously training their emotional intelligence. Mastering these practical abilities allows students to build personal brands and just immense professional confidence long before they reach adulthood. They aren't waiting until they're 25 to figure out who they are in a professional setting. They become active strategists for their own lives. So when they step into that first real job interview or when they pitch their first big project, they're not intimidated. Why? Because they already have a masterclass under their belt in the competencies that truly matter.
So I want to leave you with a powerful, somewhat provocative thought to chew on. Do the children in your life have the strategic advantages necessary to thrive in our increasingly complex and digital world? The gap between traditional education and modern reality? It's widening every single day. We've seen how platforms focused on life competencies can bridge that gap, completely transforming students from passive memorizers into confident, highly adaptable strategists. But the question remains for you to answer for your own family and your community. I really hope this explainer has given you a clear, structured framework to think about the future of learning. Thanks so much for joining me to explore this fascinating topic. Keep questioning, keep learning, and absolutely keep looking for those strategic advantages.